Hello everyone. August the 1st today. Super exciting time we are living in, there's no question to that. And this episode is called The Tipping Point, August 22. We are now at that point where things really start gaining dynamics in a way we haven't seen before. We see it everywhere. If you watch the news, naturally not the mainstream news, they won't tell you. Netherlands, many places, they are gaining traction. The people are taking back the power. Beautiful to see. We are coming together, as I said so many times. It's really happening. So let's start from the beginning here. This is the chart we are heading towards in this presentation, which was actually yesterday when the lunar node was exactly conjunct Uranus. Just wanted to give you the preview here. Quickly look at this ascendant descendant for the 0 meridian, which is exactly mirroring the one from the aphelion chart of July the 4th, which laid the foundations for these 6 months coming into January 2023. And just to recap here, we have the Leo rising at 17 degrees and we have Mars here at a very high place, prominent in the 9th house, showing that this is really the time of a revolution. Mars is the planet of highest degree here. So anyway, this chart of the lunar nodes conjunction of Uranus, which is a new marker which has been planted, is exactly mirroring that, tying into this frequency. So this in itself shows that this is a super important alignment. I guess there's no question to that. Mars is involved too. Here you see it. That's where they meet in the 19th degree of Taurus, and we will get to that, what that means, in a minute. So before that, I want to also say we have to watch for the Sun crossing that degree, the 17th, 18th degree. That will be just short before full moon, around the 10th, 11th, 12th of August. We can already be in suspension. There will be a build up to that point. The full moon is definitely a first culmination point in this new frequency we are tapping into of increased pressure. And from Oracle Girl Jacqueline Hobbs, who is really in touch, in my opinion, with what's going on a energetic plane, she says that this month we'll cross the 50% mark of people awake on this planet, knowing what's truly going on. We have steadily building up to that point. This is the tipping point. This is truly the moment when we have reached the height of the pass, kind of working ourselves up all these curves up to the top of the mountain, and now the downhill kind of starts taking on its own momentum. It's all happening by itself almost. All we have to do is just be ourselves and do the right thing, say no when it's necessary, and be loving and open to include everyone. That's the other really important message of our time. We are getting to this too. So let's start from scratch here, and before actually I want to first say thank you to all you listeners and those who particularly write comments. I definitely will include my Patreon link, as I have been mentioning that I'm considering this, and I was encouraged. A couple people have left really nice comments. Thank you for that. And people who want to support my work, that is wonderful. I very much appreciate that, naturally. So let's look at this new moon chart of just 2-3 days ago at 5:55. Interesting in itself. So all these many fives show there's a dynamic there too. And it was in the 5th degree, it's actually the 6th degree of Leo where that new moon is. And I first want to start with the actually with linking to what I mentioned in my last video. I just wanted to bring that up once more, where I got all these amazing insights. This is a production of Gaia, and I just want to say, if you're interested, this is incredible information which is giving a bit more room to what I tapped into in my last recording. If you haven't listened to it yet, go please and go back to it. All my videos are they're not really running out of value. I'm always adding in a new aspect, a new way of looking at it, naturally adjusted to where we are right now. But there's so many alignments in astrology which are valid for many months or even years to come, and I'm often tapping into those. So you will get the full picture when you go back and listen to all my other recordings. They're having no expiry date really. So, but what I wanted to say, I rediscovered the Sabian symbols, which is psychic's insight into the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And this is the edition by Dane Rudyard, one of my favorite astrologers of the 20th century. And now what I want to show you here is the 6th degree of Leo, where that new moon occurred. A conservative, old-fashioned lady is confronted by a hippie girl. That was the image which came to this psychic. And it's the need to transcend our subservience to fashion in morals as well as in clothes. Now, this is really meaningful. It shows that we are at that turning point where many more people realize that they have to get out of that mindset of blindly following whatever they're presented in the news and by the mainstream, and go to a whole new level, readjust to way more in touch with the true reality, with the true undercurrent of what's going on. I guess this is happening. This is a nice confirmation. You can read that whole thing here if you stop for a second. But let me give you a few more details here of what I wanted to show you here. First of all, just an hour or so prior to this new moon, where everything was kind of reset in Leo, the sign of expressing ourselves, of being the voice, of standing up for our sovereignty and our freedom. Very important energy, Leo. Just a couple hours prior, Mars heliocentrically entered Aries. So I don't show you this chart here because, as you see, I run out of space here sometimes of presenting charts. But Mars heliocentric 002 Aries. So we really get that unmanifest frequency of fire, of being strong within our own self and trusting our deeper layers of where we are nourished from within. Then the new moon was conjunct Varuna very closely. Varuna is a pre-Vedic deity. That's what this celestial body was named after. It's actually one of the Kuiper belt objects. It's a creator god. It protects and it protects our rights and life in general. It's righteous, strong principles, unwavering, and ready to punish whoever is not holding up contracts and honoring them. Very ethical force. So this is at the base of what this new moon, these coming 4 weeks, are resonating with. Also, there is Chariklo here. Chariklo is Chiron's wife, and just a day after Earth had an exact conjunction with Chariklo in the heliocentric, or you could say Earth, the Sun was in opposition to Chariklo from our perspective. There's always these two ways of seeing it. If we are looking here from Earth, then we see the Sun on one side, and directly on the other side would be the planet opposing the Sun from our point of view. But if you then go and look from the Sun's perspective, then you will see the Sun and whatever that planet is aligning. So this is one way of seeing it, Earth getting recharged by Chariklo. We get to that in 1 second. But also, and I'm just throwing this in 2 hours or so later after that new moon, Jupiter had its station, reached its yearly maximum here at close to 9 degrees Aries, in very narrow conjunction here with Salacia, which, as I spoke about in my last recording, is that joyful expansion of doing the right thing, of being in touch with our true calling, and being proud and strong to do our thing, the real thing, to fight for our human rights and be expansive and expressive. It's really the cavalry rolling in over the hills. That's that whole energy of Aries, Jupiter. Also note the 17th degree here again, this time of Sag and Gemini, in a perfect trine here to the 17th degree of these other 2 signs, Aquarius and Leo, where we have such a powerful axis activated. Also, as we will see, this repeats in another chart which I'll bring up in a second. Interesting that Mercury was exactly squaring Uranus and Mars and the North Node here in these last few days. Mercury in Leo, close to that axis of 17 degrees again. The square is firing up our ways of thinking. It's wanting to look behind every event, uncover what's hidden there. Very curious, that square. Also ready to dispute. Let's see what else. Well, let's keep going here. I have too many charts, don't want to spend too much time in each one. So this chart I thought was really important because of the moon's position. That was just a few hours after the new moon, the moon at 9 degrees 30 here in Leo. That was when the sun was exactly aligning with Varuna, with that principle of righteousness, and taking on that energy of strong principles and of standing up for what's right. The moon here at 9 degrees, and also the midheaven, the 0 meridian of Earth. That's what is overhead, 00 Pisces. Lots of water energy here, again links into that we are emotionally motivated to speak up and be in our power. Emotions are super important in this year and has been, as I showed you, even now backed up by the Mayan New Year on July the 26th. But now watch this. So you have 0 degree Pisces here in the midheaven and 9 degrees Leo where the moon was. And now if we look into the next chart here, this is the one, when the lunar nodes enter the new hexagrams, we have again the 9 degree 21, actually it's only 10 minutes of arc shy of that, and we have the moon at 0 degrees Virgo this time, and this is just a day or so after the Sun Varuna conjunction. So what I want to say is that this ties perfectly in, again makes this Varuna energy ever more important, and naturally T-squaring Hygeia here. Hygeia, health, well-being is its theme. It's all about that, of coming back to that central place of honoring the most in resonance with who we are energies. Just forgot to mention, you see here in the new moon chart of the 28th, we have Hygeia exactly in midheaven. So this is another energy which is super important right now. Then this is the other chart I wanted to throw in. That was on Friday the 29th, and again these charts are just starting points. This was, as I said, when the Earth had its exact alignment with Chariklo. You see it here, Chariklo at 6:30 and Earth at 6:30 in Aquarius. Now Chariklo is Chiron's wife. She is a Centaur planet in the range of Uranus and Saturn, and Chariklo is about compassion. It's a midwife's energy of holding the sacred space, of helping to give birth to something new. Chariklo is in Aquarius. Just let's show you here, between 2021 and January 2021 it had its first entry, then went back into Capricorn in September 2021 to have its final entry into Aquarian energy on November the 9th last year, and will be in here till April 2027. So this is a true support for that Aquarian breakthrough into a new time, a new age. And Chariklo is also about devotion, discernment, compassion. I mentioned that, big reservoir of compassion, of love for humanity. And that is, I just wanted to show you here how this moment, I mean, first of all I should mention this is Mars Jupiter here. You see this is heliocentric Mars at the beginning of the sign Aries, as I mentioned before. Jupiter just a little bit behind. Jupiter in heliocentric will enter Aries on the 17th of August, just a couple weeks away or so. So there's lots of fire energy around right now, and naturally Mercury here up high. Again, this shows that this is a time of expanded awareness, of rethinking reality. With that grand trine here with Pluto and Sedna going to the deepest corners of what's presented to us, analyzing it in an Aquarian, in a Virgo way of methodical, step-by-step dissecting what is presented. So this is very much resonating, this chart here, with the moment when Chariklo was first discovered. I have the chart here, just bear with me, I just pull it up here, which is actually a really fabulous chart. So with a grand star David, here's Chariklo, that was in 1997. You see, opposing that degree where it is right now. Right now it's at 6:30, so this in itself, Chariklo opposing its discovery position. And then there is this grand star David, complete star David, Mars Saturn opposition, then Pluto Moon opposition, and Jupiter Uranus Ceres here together with Mercury opposing its own position. So this is really an unusually powerful chart of this little body's discovery. At the time it was the largest of the Centaur planets. It's around 250 kilometers or so in size. And actually later on in 2014, I guess, around, it was discovered that Chariklo has two ring structures around itself, which is really unusual. It's the smallest celestial body so far discovered with two rings around itself. This in itself makes it very, very special. And then if you look at these oppositions, naturally Moon Pluto, that is strong emotions. It is that push to express yourself. Mars Saturn opposition, this is without any compromise, very strong, even though Mars in Libra, which is its most kind of trying to please, trying to fit in a sign, but this opposition to Saturn definitely gives it the ability to find its way of interacting in a retrogression here too. So this in itself is a very cautious Martian energy in the first house though, but it shows that ability to listen and to do the right thing, but overall very as I say, it's without any compromise. And naturally the Jupiter Uranus conjunction here together with Ceres and Mercury in Aquarius, it's a big invitation into this new energy of sharing, of supporting, and expanding into this Aquarian energy of friendship and communal awareness supporting each other, and this is ever more important in the coming months, that we are truly supporting each other, as there will be many sticks thrown into our way collectively. We see it with the whole food industry being taken down, artificial shortages which they try to create. They want to take us down with them. That's kind of the bottom line of it. It's their last days. They try everything, and but it is that conflict which is now out in the open. And the other thing which really stands out here in this chart is the black moon conjunct the Earth in this discovery chart of Chariklo, which the discovery chart, I should say, is always, it's how this new body presents itself, you could say, or it's the moment when it is showing itself. That energy is, you could say, its birth chart. When it first comes into our consciousness, this energy. So that opposition of the black moon to the sun, and the sun would be here at 26 degrees 28. It's just a little crowded here, that's why it's a little hard to see. But this in itself shows that it's the ability to truly embrace the shadows and go right into it, into the middle, with the Virgo rising. It's all about care and support, service. The moon in the 9th house. I mean, I could go on about this chart for a long time. I really just wanted to show you how it totally is resonating with where it is right now in our present time. And yes, I forgot mentioning one thing here. Let me just go back to it. Come on, where are we here? Here it is. Oh, okay, I have it on the other. Okay, here we are. Okay, I wanted to point out the 17th degree here of Gemini and Sag. You remember that is the degrees of the Jupiter station. Yes, you see, there's all this resonance. I'm always really thrilled to see that. It really shows that there's a higher intelligence behind everything, that nothing happens with randomly. So now this is a very important chart. This is the beginning of a whole 4-month period, I guess. The nodes moving backwards through Taurus. 1852-30 is the cutoff line here of hexagram 2 in Taurus and hexagram 1 in Scorpio. Those of you who are not familiar with this one, that's based on the human design teachings, the 64 hexagrams overlaying the zodiac, and here you see this is hexagram 1 in mid Scorpio, hexagram 2 in mid Taurus, and if we enlarge this a bit, then you see this is the 6 strong lines. This is the dragon's energy, the energy of creativity, of pure creativity, and on the other side hexagram 2 is receptivity, the feminine quality of just receiving and loving what is. And I have this picture here which I want to show you. This is the dynamics of the zodiac, really, which is a Taurus. And this is the main figure 8 here. That's the flow of energy. So the hexagram 2 and 1 are the central axis. That's why this is such an important stage we are at, when now the nodes are transiting these two signs, these two oracles, through the next 4 or 5 months. So what does that mean? Let's go to that for a moment. So hexagram 2, the receptive, is opening ourselves to love, to just be, to connect with our innermost trust that everything is exactly as is. And what we have in abundance is creativity and the vigor to do the right thing and let it naturally flow and nourish that support and love for whatever is wanting to come to the surface, of wanting to express itself. Uranus here in Taurus in that same hexagram. It has been for the last few months in hexagram 2, the receptive. So this initiation chart of this new energy, again, this is where Varuna comes in. Varuna, all about righteousness, strong principles, unwavering, ethical. So this force naturally is nourished to do the right thing, to be in tune. If we look at the heliocentric chart of that moment, no, that's not what I have here, but I guess, yes, this is the one I have, which is just one day later. So again, you see this resonance. You have the Aquarian rising here. First of all, this is again supporting what I just said about Uranus and about the tapping into new resources. It's that revolutionary spirit of accepting reality in its most colorful and unusual aspects too, giving everything a space. Uranus has that ability to open its radius and allowing for everything to have its place. The diversity, a true diversity of opinions, ideas, all inclusive. That's really the best side of Uranus. And the moon here at 0 degree Virgo, this is the ability to care. And there's no surprise here. There's this exact square with Sedna, which is the deep mystery, the darkness we are coming out of. So it is paying tribute to that too, and building on top of that, expanding its depth, vision, and embracing, supporting all these are super important thoughts, ideas, and Mercury opposing Saturn, going to the depth of everything. So the last chart here in this video, I want to look at the lunar node's exact conjunction with Uranus, which was just yesterday. And again, you see that's this perfect resonance again with the horizon axis. So this is fire, pure fire, and it cannot be contained anymore in that way. It is bursting open, expressing its resonance with what is that receptivity to love and togetherness. And now I mentioned the Sabian symbols, and that one was striking me particularly. That is the 19th degree of Taurus. It is okay, something just happened here. Let me just do it that way. Okay, doesn't work. I guess I moved that. Okay, here we go. So the third, it's a new continent rising out of the ocean. That is the oracle in that degree. That is quite big. I mean, it really shows that something totally new is gaining traction and becoming the majority. Actually, that's truly what it says. And it's a surge of new potentiality after the crisis. So there is a crisis. Even just think of a new continent rising out of the ocean. This is a dramatic occurrence. This creates waves. It's destructive on some level, as with the rise of a new continent, naturally other things will be flooded. Again, this is an allegory. I don't say this is happening, but it is that energetic environment of something totally new coming into the picture, kind of covering over something else which is no more needed. So this in itself is a powerful message. Then Pallas here at the 4th house cusp, and I mean, if you look at where Pallas has been just in the last few days, I'm just going back here to the heliocentric vision of that same moment here. Actually, you see Pallas was conjunct Uranus. So on that purely energetic level, it is the understanding, the deeper realizations of patterns within that new Uranian force, which has been reset. And with Pallas here at the 4th house cusp, and Pallas is very mercurial in its basic energy of seeing patterns, understanding all the levels of how things come together. Yeah, pretty powerful stuff. And again, to link it back into the bigger picture, this is the perihelion chart of July the 4th. Just wanted to show this once more to end this recording. And yes, it's so many things I try to share with you. I'm not always that good of finding the right words right away, but you get the idea. I'm super excited. It will be an ongoing crescendo building up over the next few months. It won't be over so fast, but we are now in a place where we are the majority, and this in itself is super exciting. Thank you for being here and for supporting my work, and talk to you soon. Okay, love you all. Bye bye.